From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
This man's a genius. Now who else can take all the forms of comedy, slapstick, satire, mime, and stand-up, and turn it into something that'll offend everyone?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it's taken me a lifetime of being an imbecile to reach this level of genius, too. Welcome to Finally Friday, and we're about to embark on another action-packed adventure loaded with lunacy and loose behavior. And here's what's on tap today on The Wrap. We're going to explore the genius of Donald Trump. I'll tell you why the Democratic Party is dead. Dime store Obama's acting out again. I'll expose his Democratic dipshittery. 47% of Americans under 50 say they want nothing to do with raising kids, and I'll tell you why. Another round of head traumas on the way. We're going to play Pick Your News today, plus our usual loose behavior, including a new feature called the Friday Funny, the Celebrity Cheese, your email from our Gmail, one more thing, and shout-outs to Rat Nation. That's what's coming up today on the Rat's Ass Podcast. Now, as you know, as I've watched this whole tariff battle roll out the past few days, it's been reported 75 countries are lined up to discuss a deal with Donald Trump in the United States. Only China has retaliated against the U.S. by slapping a 125% tariff on American goods. And it occurred to me that maybe this is exactly what Donald Trump wants. Is crashing China's economy, which is said to be in shambles right now, his way of paying China back for COVID, because it did cost him re-election in 2020, because he's got China isolated and dead to rights now if he wants them. Now, trust me, no other country wants to really deal with China, communist China, who will want to dictate terms on everything, whereas the USA would be more of a business partner, more flexible with other countries. At least this is what I believe Trump believes too. Now, if this was Trump's plan all along, I got to tell you, I think it's a genius move. The Democratic Party is dead. We're going to rebrand them today on the Rat's Ass Podcast. It's been hijacked by the oppositionist party, the OP, under the ruse of being the Democratic Party. But these are oppositionists. That's how we're going to rebrand them, the OP. Now, I grew up in a Democratic family. I would define us as Kennedy Democrats. But Jimmy Carter put an end to all of that with his nonsense with big government and inflation back in the late 70s. We all became Reagan Republicans. Reagan, a one-time Democrat, didn't believe in big government. So we kind of liked that idea. And we went with Reagan. Now, I became a libertarian when George H.W. Bush became president because he started with this 1,000 points of light thing, and you knew globalism was coming on board in a big way at that time. So once again, I got to define a libertarian for you because we keep it simple. We believe in limited government, personal freedom, and capitalism. Now, to me, Donald Trump is closer to a libertarian president than a Republican president, to be honest with you, because he's a former Democrat, too, like Reagan was. He doesn't believe in big government. He believes in personal freedom, definitely believes in capitalism. So that's why I think he's more of a libertarian to me than he is a Republican. Now, here's why I believe the Democrats are being ruled by the OP, the oppositionist party. They constantly, ad nauseum, piss and moan about everything. Complain. They have no ideas, offer no solutions either. Just ideology. They're going to tell us what kind of car we're going to drive, what kind of appliances we're going to own, what kind of bed we're going to sleep on, what kind of toilet, how it's going to flow, how your shower head's going to work for you. Low flow. Everything's low flow with these people. Anything to try and control you. That's this party, the oppositionist party, the OP, formerly the Democrats. Now, when I ran radio stations, I had a policy that said you can bring your problem, but bring a solution with it. Don't just drop the problem on my desk and leave. I want you thinking at all times. Why do we have this problem? What do you want to do to fix it? Now, we might not go with that solution, but I wanted them thinking. Give me a solution. Now, they constantly look for gotcha moments, like yesterday, the insider trading thing. Oh, we got you now, baby. We got you, Trump. We got you, gotcha. All he said was, I'd be buying more stock if I were you. Openly in front of the media. That's not insider trading. That's no different than you and I standing in front of the media and saying the same thing. He just happens to be president, and they're looking for a gotcha moment. They incite violence. They oppose Trump 100% of the time, and it's been said. Even Trump said this in his speech. He could find a cure for cancer, and they would object. They are the oppositionist party now, not Democrats. The OP. All right, Hakeem Jeffries, the OP House Minority Leader. The correct title is the Democrats' House Minority Leader, also known as Dime Store or Dollar Store Obama, take your pick. He said this the other day. The Republican Congress and Senate are meeting right now to determine how much pain to inflict on the American people. He honest to God said that. Now, here's what he really meant. You have to read between the lines with these people. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 bullet points, and you tell me if this is inflicting pain on you as an American. Extending the Trump tax cuts. Is that painful for you if they extend them? Eliminating them would cost me $4,000 personally. That's painful on me. I bet it would be on you too. Ending taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime. They totally object to that whole idea because that's more tax money for them that they're losing. Does that inflict pain on you with no more taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime? Didn't think so. Eliminating billions of dollars in government waste and fraud. Is that inflicting pain on you or that party that we're calling the OP, the Oppositionist Party, formerly known as Democrats? Now, when these a-holes use American people or democracy or pay your taxes, it's all about their party survival, period. So let's flip it. The GOP, Congress, and Senate are meeting to determine how much pain to inflict on the Oppositionist Party, the Democrats or the OP. Our democracy is at stake. That means our party's survival is at stake. Pay your taxes because the Democratic Party needs money to survive. That's what that means. They know better what to do with that money than we do. They want to spread the wealth around the world, have you work your ass off and pay as much tax as they can squeeze out of you. I mean, clearly, these folks don't give a rat's ass about anything but achieving and staying in power, period. End of story. All right, a study was done by the Pew Research Center and said 47% of Americans today under 50 say they don't want to have children or raise children for 2 major reasons. 1, the state of the world today, and 2, they don't want to deal with the financial burden. Now, look, I get it. I've never had kids, never wanted kids, and I made this decision back in the 80s when the economy was on fire. Now, the reason I chose this route was because I had older brothers and sisters who had kids, and every time we got together, all they did was bitch and complain about how much better their lives would be if they didn't have all of these kids. I was always thinking, like, why didn't you ever hear of a condom, for crying out loud? But I simply paid attention and wasn't crazy enough to think it would be different for me, and that's why I didn't do it. Plain and simple. All right, coming up on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog this weekend, I'm going to post my Democratic shit list. Could be a scroll, but at least it's a list. We'll call it a list, but I'm just warning you, it could be a scroll. And we're going to announce this week's Dumbass of the Week award winner. It's down to Bill Maher and Jasmine Crockett. The NBA and NHL regular season's also coming to an end on Sunday, so on Monday we'll take a look at the playoff situation for you both.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today is Pick Your News. I'm going to give you 4 headlines, and you have to tell me which one is the correct headline. AC/DC kicks off its first U.S. tour in 9 years, featuring a hologram of Malcolm Young and Bon Scott. The Menendez brothers announced they've written several prison songs and hope to record them if released. GROK AI has predicted the first round of the NFL draft and says Tennessee will take Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the first pick. And consumers flock to hoard marijuana gummies due to tariff hikes. All right, I'll have the answer for you coming up a little bit later on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Oh, yeah. And today forward, every Friday, we're going to do the Friday Funny, featuring a comedy great, dead or alive. Check out this bit. I don't want to say it's very funny. I'll let you determine it for yourself. But it's Mr. John Pinay.
It's a pleasure to be here, because I was just in Las Vegas, so I need the money. I lost a lot of money. I really did. I mean, I get them back at the buffet, don't get me wrong. $9.95, all you can eat. We'll see who wins this friggin' handout, won't we? I do believe I have blackjack. I was at the prime rib counter going, hit me again. The buffet manager was horrified. You should have seen him. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights. Get the prime rib back in the kitchen. Finally, they just gave me my money back. Here's your $1,000. Get out! Actually, they have a buffet in Las Vegas. It's called the Oz Buffet. It's the Wizard of Oz theme, and it's a buffet. You walk up, and it's the Emerald City, and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. I ran to it. You out of the wood, you out of the dark, you out of the night. Step into the sun, step into the light. Prime ribs and pork chops and scampi, oh my. Prime ribs and pork chops and scampi, oh my.
You know, I look for that buffet when I go to Vegas. I haven't found it yet, though. But we lost John back in 2014 at the age of 50. But he was known as a clean comic, man. You could take the kids, enjoy the show, and he would just make your ribs hurt.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
Right, AC/DC kicked off its first U.S. tour in 9 years in Minneapolis last night. The Power Up Tour, as it's called, features a 21-song set list of fan favorites. Now, it's about a 2-hour show, and I remember years ago, AC/DC would take a break after 2 hours for a wardrobe change. So I guess now they call it a night after 2 hours for a Depends change. Oh, I couldn't help it. Oh, they set it up for me. And I feel bad. I feel so guilty for dinging my favorite band right there. All right, Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger, now 81, is engaged to get married. He's going to walk down the aisle and say I do's with his longtime girlfriend, 37-year-old Melanie Hamrick. Now, Jagger said, we're in no hurry to get married and tie the knot. And I'm thinking, bullshit. He might not be, but Hamrick sure as hell is. All right, Meghan Markle popped in to see the Broadway play Gypsy, and nobody noticed that she was sitting in the crowd until the lights went up after the show. And then everybody started pointing fingers and wanting autographs, going, Meghan, Meghan, Meghan. Harry wasn't there. Guess where Harry was? He took a trip to the Ukraine. Proof that some guys will do anything to get out of seeing a Broadway show. You know, it's kind of a slow news day today, even though it's Friday, so I'm going to share this one with you. HGTV star Christina Hack and new boyfriend Chris LaRocca have been asked to cool it with the PDA after they were caught feeling each other up on the beach in Cabo San Lucas. Now, personally, I don't have an issue with a couple, feeling each other up. It's the fondling that's disgusting to me. All right, on a side note, Britney Spears is still single.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, this is where you email your questions, comments, and observations to me at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and I respond here on the podcast. No topic is off the table. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. I do not read your email in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can respond rapid fire and on the fly. All right, Dane G. from Gulf Shores, Alabama said, or wrote, do you support all these Trump flip-flopping on tariffs? He's inconsistent. Say, well, Democrats call it flipping and flopping, Dane, but I see it as being flexible. You know, Trump's a chameleon. He'll change colors to fit every situation. He's not going to be one size fits all. Now, this concept is completely lost on career politicians who've never done anything but play politics. All right, Leslie Kay from Rockland, Maine wrote, do you think Kamala Harris will be your next governor of California? Say, well, Leslie, we're talking about a state here that elected slumlord Gavin Newsom twice, Jerry Brown, nutbag twice, and Arnold Schwarzenegger once. There are a lot of tofurkey-eating liberals in this state, so it wouldn't surprise me in 2026 if Harris runs and actually wins. Rain P. from Hobbs, New Mexico says, I follow you on TikTok and you create some very funny political videos. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Where do you come up with all the ideas and material? Say, well, you know what? I find a lot of stuff on X. I follow a lot of crap, believe me. And it feeds me ideas, and I just kind of put them together. So I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, George B. from Cody, Wyoming said, I've been following the VIX like you mentioned, and I was wondering if I buy stock when the VIX is around 50, can I still lose money? Oh, absolutely. Just because the VIX is at 50, it doesn't mean that's where the stocks are going to hold. I mean, it could hold there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and as long as it's up there, the stocks that you buy or the stocks that are currently owned by people that haven't sold out, they could still go down more. Okay, that's just, to me, that's a point where you start thinking about buying more at some point and at least paying attention to the 50. Because what will happen is it goes down from 50 to 45 to 40 to 35, 30, and it really, when it gets under 25, you're going to see those stocks start to move up, unless you got a dog with fleas, all right? But that's when the stocks are going to return. And as they drop below 25, you know that fear is leaving the market, and it's safe to probably leave your money there. Okay, but you got to have some stones if you do this. If you buy at 50, you got to realize that it may not be the end of the downfall. It may have room to fall. So don't think if I buy at 50 that I'm not going to lose any money, okay? You can always lose money regardless. All right, Kyle T., Durango, Colorado, said, I've been dating a girl for about 6 weeks. Oh, God, we get a dating question? Oh, boy. All right, I've been dating a girl for about 6 weeks, and I just found out recently that I used to work for her dad, and it didn't end well. Now she wants me to meet her parents. What do you recommend? Face the fire, buddy. If you like this girl, you got to face the fire, Kyle. You got to let her know up front what's going on, but I think you got to face the fire on this one, man. Bonnie L., Mason City, Iowa. I met a trucker passing through Mason City a couple of weeks ago. I don't have to read further to know where this has gone. One thing led to another, and we ended up getting it on in his sleeper. He texted me last night saying he'd be in town this weekend and wanted me to meet up. Should I do it? I mean, that depends on what you want, because he's sexting you. If he hasn't talked to you since that delightful night, he's sexting you. He's expecting to come to Mason City, get gritty in Mason City. That's what he's talking about. So if you got the fire down below and want a rematch, agree to meet. If not, it's okay to ghost him. All right, if you have any questions, observations, comments, send them to me at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get them on the podcast, all right?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right. Pick your news. I gave you 4 headlines, and you have to tell me which one is correct. AC/DC kicks off its first tour in 9 years, featuring a hologram of Malcolm Young and Bon Scott. The Menendez brothers announced they've written several prison songs and hope to record them if released. GROK AI has predicted the first round of the NFL draft and says Tennessee will draft Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the first pick, and consumers flock to hoard marijuana gummies due to tariff hikes. All right, have you figured that out yet? If you guess C, GROK AI has predicted the first round of the NFL draft and says Tennessee will pick Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the first pick.
Correctamundo.
And if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got to take off because people are trying to recruit me to go dingleberry picking, and I'm not gone. I'm not doing that. But I do have one more thing for you. Study after study has proven people who don't give a damn about anything are happier people. So just think about this. How much happier would they be if they just didn't give a rat's ass? Yeah. All right, let's do a few shout-outs to Rat Nation. Austin Peeler from Duluth, Minnesota. Kimberly Snow of Sarasota, Florida. Out of New Orleans, Louisiana, Mitchell Forrest. Jake Reddish from Cumberland, Maryland. And Marianne Jacobs from Woodland Hills, California. Thanks, everyone, for joining Rat Nation and helping us get to that milestone of 1,000 members that we want to get to. All right? Thank you so much for joining the club.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the new ratsasspodcast.com to check us out on the socials. Listen to podcasts, join Rat Nation, and read the blog loaded with current events, entertainment, music, radio wars, sports, sex, and the Dumbass Awards so far for 2025. Yeah, we're going to try to do this again on Monday, April 14th. Take care of each other and have a magnificent weekend. And thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.